Hello once again and welcome back. As you can see, I've got a pretty dramatic look on. I wanted to do this look because right now on the West Coast we're in that weird phase where it's already fall but it still feels like summer and it doesn't get cold for another probably month. So this is my way, this is what I call sunset eyes. This is just my way of saying goodbye and just kind of escorting the summer out and bringing in the fall. I got to pick a few shadows from the Makeup Forever Artist Shadow Collection. I chose these three and it's in the Trio palette. These three colors just really caught my eye. I just wanted an orange, a red, and a brown. Those are like the colors that you see in a sunset, and these shades were just perfect for what I was going for. This actually is probably my favorite fall makeup look because it does have that warmth and it is a smoky look, so I love it and I hope you guys love it too, and keep watching to see how I created this look. Okay, so I'm going to start with the eyes first because I'm bound to get some fallout on my cheeks, and then I'll move on to the face. Of course, I'm going to start out with an eyeshadow primer first. It doesn't matter what eye primer I'm using, I pretty much always apply just with my finger. So the first color I'm going to start out with is this gorgeous orangey brown sienna shade. So I'm going to take a blending brush and just start working this into my crease area. Since this is going to be a pretty much smoky look, of course I want to start with a transition color first, and it's just going to make everything way more easy to blend. When you first have the product on your brush, you want to concentrate it right there in the middle part of the crease, and then once that shadow starts coming off of the brush is when you want to start blending outward. And then if you ever find that you've blended up too much, like it's too close to your brow bone, I'll show you a little trick with my foundation toward the end that'll kind of tone it down and blend it out really nicely. Okay, next up I'm going to move into this beautiful cranberry shade, and this time I'm using a slightly smaller blending brush, and this I'm going to start concentrating right up at the ends, the outer part of my lid and my crease, and just start blending it inward. And then going back with that first brush that I applied that sienna shade with, I'm just gonna blend the two together so I don't lose too much of that beautiful soft orange. And you'll notice I'm stippling the color in as opposed to strokes. That's what I want to do in the very beginning when I'm laying the color down, where I want it most concentrated, and then I'll start blending outward. And once again going back in with that soft orange and just blending away. Alright, so now we're really getting into that nice blended look, and that's what I really like about these shadows, is that they blend really, really well. They're like butter. So finally I'm going to move on to the darkest color, and I'm going to use a really small brush to apply this. I'm just going to dip into that matte dark brown. And again with this I'm just going to start laying it down, just sort of pressing the color into my lids all the way to the inner corner. And I don't want the darkness to overtake the look too much, so I'm just going to concentrate it right here in this area, and then we'll blend it out. Okay, great. So now I'm going back to that brush that I used to apply the cranberry shade, take a little bit more of that red color, and then start blending it in. Just blending the two together. Again, being careful to blend down, not too much upward, because I don't want the darkness to go all the way up to my crease. So just carefully blending that. And then once I get to the inner part, again, I'm going to go back with the sienna shade and do the same thing. Just blend them together. Alright, moving on to the next eye. Again, same thing. I'm really laying it down pretty heavily at the lash line, and I'll just sort of make it a little bit lighter as I move up toward the crease. And this time I'm going to take that pointed brush and just start blending upward from here. Alright, once again going back to that smaller blending brush and just dipping into the red and blending away. And this time with that orange, doing the same thing, and then I'm going to go back and start blending again with the darker color just to lift up that darkness just a little bit. Okay, so I'm pretty much done blending all of this out. Now I'm going to go ahead and clean my face and move on to the foundation, and then we'll finish off the bottom lash line. Alright, going in with my usual face primer. And now for my foundation. I'm just going to start working this in. This is a very interesting kabuki from Sigma. It's brand new and it's their new 3D design. It's actually my first time I'm using it and so far so good. Okay, so I told you guys I had a little tip for how to use your foundation to blend out your shadow. So I now have barely anything left on my brush. I'm just going to take what it's like nothing left on the back of my hand. So with whatever's left on your brush or your beauty blender, whatever you're using, just kind of go in and very lightly blend out your brow bone. This will just kind of bring everything together and just really give your shadow that blended look. Alright, next up I'm going in with some concealer. This is a pretty opaque concealer, so I don't want to put too much on. So now I'm going to go in with my Morphe brush. I love this thing. And just blend it out. And finally I'm going in with a little bit of banana powder just to set that under eye concealer. Moving right along into the blush, I'm using a nice neutral color just because I do have quite a few colors on my eyes. So just going to put something neutral on my cheeks. Okay, so for this look I definitely want to do a little bit of contouring and bronzing, so I'm going to take my Chocolate Soleil bronzer and just start working that into the usual spots. And I never ever apply bronzer like this, like strokes. I always just blend it in with small circular motions anywhere I'm applying it. And I'm also going to go in with the same brush with a little bit of my Betty Lou just to give this a nice glowy feel. So this is like bronzer and glow combined into one. And now just for a little bit more glow, I'm going to take my Compact Shine On, which I never thought to use because I'm sort of set in my favorite highlighters, but this one is gorgeous. It's a really nice kind of combination of pearl and gold. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that to my usual highlight areas, top of the cheekbones, a little bit on the forehead. Okay, so the face is pretty much done. Now I'm going to go back to the eyes and finish them off, beginning with a little bit of gel liner, and this is black. And I'm using black because I have pretty strong features to begin with, so if you are fair and you have blue eyes or you have light eyes, you can definitely go for a brown gel liner. So I'm just going to open my eyes freakishly wide and just get that in. Try not to blind myself. And then we'll get into the waterline as well. Okay, so I've lined both eyes, and now I'm going to go back in to the shadow palette and grab a little bit of, actually we'll blend the dark brown and the red together. And make sure to tap that so that all the excess shadow comes off so I don't have to wipe again. And I'm just going to start blending out the bottom lash line and just make it a little bit smoky. Okay, next up I'm just going to get a little bit of mascara on and throw on some falsies. Just going to lower those onto my lash line. And on the other side. Alright, we are almost done. Now, I debated a little bit about what to use on my lips, and what I'm trying is just a matte nude shade. And I'm actually going to blot this out with my finger. So I'm just going to kind of put it on sort of messy and then go through and just blot it. So that is it for my Sunset Eyes smoky eye look. Hope you guys loved it. I think this is such a pretty way to do a warm smoky eye using the reds and the orange. So let me know what you think in the comments and give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Thank you so much for watching. I love you, and I will see you next time.